play.
Yes, yes, we are back again. I am speaking with Badr Wahid, my cuz, my brother. And yeah, we was talking about something on the way out, B, and I'm getting old. I can't remember exactly what it was, but these breaks be messing up the continuity, you know what I'm saying? When we flowing, I'm good, but once we take a break, I'll be like, God damn, what the hell we was talking about? You know what I'm saying?
It was only getting to the point, the whole concept was why nobody can really lead them, why Black Lives Matter.
Oh,
Those
Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah, yeah, they wasn't really for the people. Anybody who gonna march now needs to march for the same old things of correcting our community, but there has to be some action behind it. Those cats never came to our communities to march.
Right.
For the typical everyday killings, to stop it in any kind of way. They weren't a company, nonprofit, or whatever like TOP. So when that George Floyd stuff happened, they poured money into them. All these companies trying to be shameless and everything else. I'm giving Black Lives Matter $1 million. Oh, oh, this lady went from pennies to balling.
Yeah.
You can't tell me her heart. If that money was in the heart of somebody who was really for the people, and she having all this money, there's no need to move into a mansion. There's no need to. Maybe you should get security if you think those people are going to be after you. But who the heck is really after you? People in our community,
right?
Because the other people in the other community, they might not really be after you if they knew you had backing, because they knew it was going to be a problem.
Right.
If you did, it's times people went places and nothing happened to because they know, we do start this one, it's going to be a problem for us, boys. Then sometimes crazy joker might start something because they're crazy though, not because they ain't got their senses. Because the sensible people, even if you could do it, you wouldn't do it. So no, that wasn't like that. They weren't, because imagine if TOP got the money Black Lives Matter got.
Oh man,
imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, because
a program that was actually for developing the minds, the body, and the souls of Black boys.
Right.
Because they really didn't want the girls in there. They knew you get the boys right, the girls will follow.
Right.
That's exactly what's happening now. So if TOP had got all the money Black Lives Matter got, because they were actually doing Black Lives Matter work.
Right. Now that's I think which is missing in this whole conversation is those type of programs.
Right.
Like they disappeared.
Real hard.
Anything that was helping.
Remember this. He used to get upset because they had to chase funding. Remember how many times he used to go to City Hall, this and that, to chase funding for the program, and they would have to cut stuff on us because, hey, they knocked down our budget. These guys were producing successes, honestly. Let's be for real about that.
Oh, absolutely.
They were getting us many more off. All that time that we could have been on the street would have just been destroying something. So they were producing successes, but they were knocking down the funding.
Right. Don't make sense.
Why?
Don't make sense.
Knock down funding for something that was doing good, doing some positive. That's no different than the different home ex, this and that was taken out of our communities for a specific reason. We need to give y'all less to do something with. I'll give you an example, right? We went to this, you ever heard the One Music Fest? Remember this joint I was telling you about?
Yeah.
So we're at the One Music Fest, and it kind of reminds me of the scenario and how we can act differently in a scenario, or we can choose to act like this. And this is what I'm talking about as far as wavelengths, energy, all that stuff teetering towards one way or another. And that's being a majority of us, and a few of us is just off. They're going to remain off because that's how they are. They're a test for you in some kind of ways. So, because Alvin was a test. Alvin would have had me in way more stuff if I went along with his energy instead of stop it or ignore it or whatever.
Right.
He could have been considered the craziest or wildest of the bunch. He used to do some stuff and then run. And we're like, what this joker running for? You know, if he running, just run. Don't ask no questions. You see him split, run.
Right.
He did something stupid. Or he sees something coming.
Right.
Right? You see him run. No questions that you just knew. You better, and if you were slow at it, it was like, yo, you almost got caught up. Why? Because you didn't see what just happened. He seen it. As long as you know he run, you run. You don't ask questions. So now the reality is, if you at that event, the first day it was wide open to go out, completely wide open. The second day they bottlenecked that joint, and I'm talking about it was about 50,000 people there, all leaving around the same time. And I'm telling you, TP, the widthness of the gate before was wide open. It was this area open, blah, blah, blah. It was wide open, right? No problem. Nobody, you can not be up on somebody's shoulder trying to get out.
Right.
The next day, they bottlenecked that joint. I think it was only maybe about 10 feet wide. So this is what everybody was doing. Right? So and the vibe of the people there, just again, about 50,000 people there, that vibe is different. You can probably step on somebody's white sneaks, turn to him, my bad, yo. I'm sorry, I didn't even, because it was the rocks, whatever. No bad. You might even, break him off. My bad, yo. It wasn't on purpose. Because if it was on purpose, you just look at it, right?
Right.
That's different energies. Because we either did the same thing. We just looked at you. What? My bad or not. I don't care. What? Now, the vibe there, if you could step on somebody's sneakers like that and it'd be no issue, no rap, no all love, no issue. There's a different vibe. So that bottlenecking on that group didn't have the same effect if you bottleneck the group that's listening to all the mumble rap jokes.
Right.
You get them. Now that's how it pulls in. That's strategizing how to get at people. And that's putting an obstacle in the way, because on some group of people is going to not be effective. That rat knows, no, I'm not going down that way. Or if I go down that way, I know where the little electric parts are at so that you can stun my feet. I'm going to walk on the wall, get around the obstacles because I need to get to that little piece of cheese or whatever that's over there. Then there's the other jokers that just don't care. Going, well, mother, get mad.
Right.
And then strike out at somebody else. Somebody else trying to walk past, they bite at them.
Right.
The same joker that was trying to slip past because he already know not to do the stupid thing, they want to have the same effect.
Right.
So and that's my point.
That's probably why they did the bottleneck, to see if some shit would jump off.
Of course.
And
I said it out loud. I was like, yo, what the freak? It wasn't like this yesterday. Was it some kind of experiment or something? But this is the experiments that's been happening to us over decades. That's the point. Over decades, if you decrease the funding in programs that are actually having some effect, if you take away home ec, if you don't provide as many jobs in the summer because your funding got cut down, if you do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and watch for the result, okay, that one was good enough. That produced this much, because we're watching things a little closer. Now they have a technology you can watch even way closer.
Right.
So you watch and you say, okay, no, that didn't produce as much of an effect. So let's pour the money this way. Let's pour the money towards this effect and with this effect, if it keeps going, we already see where this is going. That's why you can project and say in 2000 or 2010, whatever that date was, 7 out of 10 Black men won't be effective. That's why you can do that, because you strategize and you watched and you seen and you treated things in a systematic way so you can see what the results is down the line. No different than the people coming from Africa knowing that I'm on this current, and if I need to slip off this current to jump over to those currents, I already learned through mistakes of traveling this way. Hey, this island is good, but it's not like the island we hit the last time. What did we do to get to that island the last time? We caught that favorable wind. We rode hard for 30 minutes. And then we caught it. Boom. We felt we caught it. Shoot. Put a rose in.
Right.
That's science. Oh, the star. Yeah, that star right there when it's leaning about around this time, using that thing that they used to use, because I have no idea what it is. I'm just using the logic of how you jump to one thing, using a systematic way of getting to something. Whether you're trying to produce behavior or you're making a sword of different arms. It's a system. That's the science in, and they just using the science for a sick reason.
Yeah, you're right. No, I get exactly what you're saying. It's just, you know what I mean, we hope the people that's listening to this joint understand what we're saying, you know, can't allow the system to navigate us. We have to navigate it. You understand? Right. Knowing when you are in a scientific study, how to navigate that. You know what I mean? Knowing when you are in a situation that could be a violent situation, how to get yourself out of that. You understand? Like, these were like, we didn't plan anything. We just said, yo, let's talk tonight and let's record it, right? Just have a conversation. We ain't structure anything. But the message that we are portraying is, this is what we was when we was young. This is what we did when we was in the middle of our growth, right? And then where we at now, you know, I don't know if you really want to get into that, or we could save it for another pod. We could do another one.
TP, you know, my whole life is either some kind of lesson or some kind of sign for me to develop from in some kind of way. You know, it's I can't look at some negative part in my life even yesterday and say, oh man, I wish that didn't happen. No, what did it produce? What did it produce? That's what I'm more concerned with. You know, right. So even if it's negative and it produced something negative, then that negative did it eventually lead to a positive. You know, I can't look at it as oh man, don't want to get into it because what I did then, what I'm now, I don't care. I hope somebody can grow from it, they grow from it. If they can't understand it, then you know they can't understand it. You know, you can't take your bad and say, I wish none of that happened. It could have produced a greater good in you.
I mean, you can't take none of the shit back. I mean, what's done is done. Life has been lived.
Apologize. You can try to be, you know what I mean? But you can't take something back from, oh man, listen. Like, you know, listen, I'm sorry I busted you in the head, man. I wasn't in the right space then. I mean, for real, I'm sorry. This is just, it is what it is.
That's who I was back
then. The person that I am now, I wouldn't bust you in the head at all. I would have helped you off the ground, somebody else bust you. Or I would have tried to stop them from busting you in the head. But me then, no, I wanted to bust you in the head. I was that person. I wasn't the person I am now. So I'm trying to help you avoid that person. I hope that person doesn't turn into that person by getting them at some point.
Right.
So that they can realize, oh, no, I can navigate this sea of life differently and not look at my negatives as negatives.
Right.
I have to look at them as what can I learn from them to be positive? Because there's certainly some people that say, man, my mom smoked crack. I'm going to be out here balling. I got to get this X, Y, and Z because I need to eat. There's other people who said, nah, my mom smoked crack and I'm not going to ever smoke crack, smoke, drink. I'm going to get jobs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make something of myself.
I know a few people like that. We know a few people like that.
Same communities, same situations.
It's all about choices. I think life is that. All about choices that you make, you know what I mean? Which moves you make, It's all about choices. Life is a choice. You could choose to be out on the street busting people upside the head, or you could choose to go to that summer job and do that. You could choose to be out here selling drugs to your own people, or you can go choose to go to school and be a pharmacist, and learn how to do it, make a drug that will help some people. You understand?
I
Like,
would love for us to dominate molecular engineering. And this is just being real talk. And this is the jokers who make up the drugs because they figure out how to put these compounds together and what's going to happen when you put those compounds together, even if you got them together, and what result they will have on the human body. When you come from a different mindset, you're trying to get to the balance of the body. So if you found somebody who has, like, say, for instance, high blood pressure, you're trying to find out, okay, why do you have high blood pressure? Not me just add on a pill.
right.
Get you out of your high blood pressure. But that pill causes
I know
X,
about
Y,
high
and
blood
Z.
pressure. I'm taking them right now.
Yeah, but the pill has side effects.
It
Those
do
side
have
effects
side
sometimes.
effects.
So us
Yeah.
being into any of those areas, that's like us being in a hockey.
Right.
You get me?
Yeah, get in it, learn the
But when we
sport,
get into
dominate it.
something, when you choose to get into something, the choice is still there. You choose to be great. Now I'll give you every one of those black boys that's I'm giving you as example in hockey. Their parents probably told them, get out there and be the best one out there. It's no different than us. So now get out there and be the best. Choose to be great. Now,
well, I know that's something.
If you don't hear that at home, what's that?
That's something your mom used to say a lot. Like,
yeah.
She always used to tell us, like, yo, man, don't be out here wasting your time. Go out here and do something great. I remember her saying that to me before. And yeah, your mom, you know how I feel about your mom. She's like my second mom. So it's
Well,
like,
you imagine what if you ain't hearing that though? Because the people that hear often enough, they out there, they eventually try to either suck it up and they go out and try to be great, or they do something, but maybe it's a level of greatness, not their real greatness, but a level of greatness, right? They usually don't be bumps. You know what I mean?
When you getting that positive reinforcement, anything could happen and anything is possible. So if you're getting positive energy brought to you, all that stuff is possible. But when you surround yourself with negativity and negative people, that's what usually tends to happen, negative shit. Yeah. So I think that's like the greatest lesson I learned, even doing this freaking podcast. Like, this podcast has been through so many different iterations, and it's only 6 months old, 5 months old. You know what I'm saying? And it was all a learning process for me, just navigating different personalities, different, situations. And, at the end of the day, whether it was good or bad, I learned something from it. Right. So
that's a different mindset though, TP. That's the mindset we developed into that had a starting path at just even coming to TOP. Because we had that negative mindset when we was running the streets more.
Oh, absolutely.
So we had to shift.
Absolutely.
Once it shifted, we changed thought patterns, all of that. So it's all the same in that sense. And that's why I am thankful for things like TOP. Like I said, I wouldn't be in the place where I'm at now, because when I go and I say to somebody, they say, "What'd you do?" I'm a nurse. One or two thoughts really happen. They either happy, they believe it initially, or they question, looking at you sideways like, "No, nigga, you ain't no nurse. You ain't got to lie about it."
Really?
You know what I mean? I don't have to prove myself to you. So a lot of times, you don't even tell a joker you're a nurse. Right. Because I don't need one of those two things, because it only should be one. You should only believe that, yes, I am what I say. If I said, walked over and you said, "What do you do?" "I'm a billionaire." Because I am a billionaire. I ain't got to play with those words. I ain't got to be something I'm not.
Right.
But I get that. So that's, is a thought where, guys we grew up with. Dang, Battle, you a nurse? I remember one girl, I'm seeing if you remember. She was young though. And this is how I knew how much influence we had on people. Um, it was like I knew that, but this is kind of like a heartbreaker too, in a sense, because um, I was a nurse. I was working at Our Lady of Lords, and somebody said something, and I handled it in such a way in this mannerism, and it's the name will come to me. You know the whole family because it was two tall sisters and a tall brother. The light skin, all light skin. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Two tall sisters. One sister was our age. The other one was like maybe 5 years or 7 years, maybe even 10 years younger than her. And then she had a brother, a light skinned brother, and he used to kind of want to hang out, but he really couldn't because his mom used to keep him on lock more.
Right. I'm
I
trying
seen
to
the
think.
sister. She was working at Lady of Lords, and she said, "Yo, Batter, I don't think they know who you are." Cause I know you would have tore something. Look, I'll be looking at these jokers. I'll be thinking they don't know who they talking to. Cause right, I think any moment he about to hit one of them in the mouth or something, and she be bawling inside and laughing at the whole situations of how
Right.
we talking to cats like nah, but it'd be totally professional and all of that, not
Right.
what I was before, right?
Right.
So
That's something that you learn though. That's
right, but
we
it made
can't
me
we
look like
can't be
wow,
our former selves and expect
right.
to
So
do anything
cats will look.
positive.
Cats would look like they was like, Batty, you're a nurse, and you used to do X, Y. Like, yo, I would never think you would be a nurse. Not you, not you.
But
So
look,
it's hard to see that I came from that street doing this X, Y, and Z to
right,
becoming a nurse
right,
because that's not something that I guess we can accomplish. We can't look at each other and say, I'm a billionaire.
right,
And I mean it. You shouldn't question that. I ran the streets. I did X, Y, and Z. That was all still my intelligence. I grew to the other side of that energy,
right. I
and
mean,
now I'm doing this same street.
the perfect example you could say somebody that came from the streets and now is a billionaire and doing big things. You could say Jay-Z. There you
Yeah,
go.
he came from
Perfect
the streets.
analogy.
I don't
Came
think the
straight from the
Joker's any
streets.
different than the Joker that was running the streets. He's the same cat, same
Right.
cat. You don't change from who you were in the streets. You evolve it.
You evolve,
You
right?
evolve it to this different situation you're dealing with. So now the cat that you're talking to right here across some table, you ain't gonna be like, or you're gonna be like, no, you have a different manner of how you approach it and the words that you're using, but it's the same mentality. No, I'm
Right.
gonna tell you about yourself, homie. But you're not gonna say I'm gonna tell you about yourself, homie, in the office.
Right.
Now you're
Right.
gonna say, let me, you're breaking it down in all these other ways. So that
Right.
now that was no different than us playing our part in the we were pretty much field niggas, right? But we were playing our part in the house. Or
Right.
we're playing our part at the market. Or playing like oh. There's a way you gotta talk to this, that's another, but you still have your heart connected to who you were there. You haven't changed. You're not no different. Just because I talk like this right now doesn't mean my heart is not connected to that back there. And
Yeah.
that's how we look at, and I'm saying it too to add on a point because I don't like catching the side eye even from people that we grew up with. What do you think I changed? What do you think? Go ahead, say something stupid because I know I can't do that in the hospital, but we're on the streets right now. So go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. I'll be waiting. Go ahead.
I mean,
Because
that's
that's my
not,
point.
yeah. I
Hold
mean,
on, I'm sorry.
I
Real quick,
understand
TLB.
exactly what you're
No,
saying.
what I'm saying is look at Dr. Pella, right?
Right.
Dr. Pella and his daughters. Did not his daughters talk like they were white? And it was hard for us to understand, dang, why they talk like they white, Dr. Pella? But where was their hearts connected to?
They father
And their father and us,
and
meaning
us, right?
bringing
Yeah.
up, helping the community rise up.
Right.
But they talk
Absolutely.
different. They they didn't look any different, but they talk different. In the beginning, it took us a different way because
It
we
took
didn't
us
know
a
how to
while.
understand that.
Yeah,
Like,
it
oh
took us a
man, she
while to
talk all white. She even act white a little, yo. Look at that. Where you at? Where you know what I mean? But they were our people and they were for us. They
right.
just talk different. So again, it's no different than me being out of the hood, learning how to manage my hoodness in this environment, but not
Right.
looking hood.
Right.
And then when I come back, it's looked at like, why are you? How can you? You're not. Da, 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 da. It can't be that way. We have to deflect that just because Marisha or because sometimes they have white names, right? But you got to think of the parents. The parents sometimes give some of these kids white names so that they can navigate through society easier. Because that white name, when a person looks in an interview or on a piece of paper and they see the name as, you know, say for instance, her name is Annie Hathaway. Oh, Annie Hathaway, based on her everything, looks really good as a candidate. Let me pull Annie Hathaway into an interview.
Right.
You pull Annie Hathaway, that woman has a white voice, a white name, looks black. Her heart is attached to black, and she's getting a job because of now they stuck. Or hey, let me just get this candidate because I checked off the affirmative action box. Get that person in. Now I'm looking at it in a situation where okay, well, um, the white people don't really accept it because it's like some token nigga, or for real, no real. They don't really accept you like, oh hey. Then you have some that do, but then
Well,
they can't come back to the same black our community and be fully accepted like no other because we don't know how to accept that because we're looking at these separations of how people talk instead of their hearts, instead of
instead
where
of
their
their
energy.
hearts. Right. I mean, they definitely was the Pellas was definitely some good people, and
Right.
his wife Patience was a beautiful person as well. So I just you know I get what you're saying. I agree with you. You know what I mean, to a certain extent. I think where we at as far as business. You learn business acronym, right? Let's say you a drug dealer. You was a drug dealer your whole life, right? And you found a way to navigate that situation and got out unscathed. The stuff you used doing that, you can kind of use as business acronym.
Not
And
kind of exactly. They're gonna use exactly the same.
you know what I'm saying.
They're just gonna evolve it more.
You got to
Evolve into
evolve.
that
You know,
situation.
you evolve and you move and navigate those type of situations. And that's what we was talking about tonight, evolving. Don't stay stuck in that old way and living and thinking in that old way. Now tonight we didn't have nothing structure. We just said we're gonna get on here, we're gonna talk. We hope y'all get the message that brother Batter was giving y'all. The brother Batter, my brother. You my brother, man. What you
I'll take
talking
it
about?
from there.
All right. And I hope y'all heard that message. And I don't know, B, let me ask you this straight up while we on camera, right?
Right.
You want to do another one?
Of course.
And
You know,
next time,
I ramble. So
it's
but
all good.
I will bring it back full circle. But I ramble because there's so many things that's touching and connecting, and you can give as examples that it seems like I'm rambling if you can follow. So I'm not that Kanye type of erraticness. You know what I mean? I will bring you back home to the point if you're
Right.
able to follow. You just got to skip around, skip to Malou. They were like,
Right.
oh, that's how. Okay, that makes sense.
It does
But
make
it sounds like
everything
it's a
makes.
ramble.
No, it wasn't a ramble. It made perfect sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it made sense to the people. And since you said we're gonna do another one next time, when we do it, we'll be a
Nah, no
little more.
structure. I don't need no structure. You could pick one subject, and then
Yeah, a subject
after that
matter. We
subject,
ain't
then
even
you
had
go
one
from
tonight.
there.
We just said we're gonna just get on here and talk.
Right,
You
right.
know what I
We
mean?
might be talking about furry socks at the end. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just the structure we don't need.
Right. We don't need too much structure. We just gonna talk on the topic, and yeah, next time we'll do that. That way we can know where the hell we going. You know what I mean? Navigating at certain points. Cause we just
But
got
no
on
doubt,
here and talk.
no
You know what
doubt.
I'm saying?
The one thing I would say is once piggybacking off of what you're saying, once you do learn how to navigate in a certain way, um, again, kind of using that example of coming from Africa, and you learned that at a certain joint, the current's going to split off into going this way, going that way, going that way. And you learned how to navigate them so well based on your sciences of things. Um, you have to show other people how to navigate that. And if you don't, what's the point? Because the information dies with you.
Right.
That's not growth.
Right. It's not
That's not
growing
growth at all.
nobody. And it's
It
being
does
very
not.
selfish. And it's
Yeah,
being very
and
selfish.
selfish doesn't help for any people. Selfish helps for one person. The only thing you should be selfish about is that I need to do enough that when I die, maybe I can land in a good spot.
Right.
Whether
People,
that's the selfish stuff, because
right.
that's going to usually lead you to some good stuff. Because you're going to say, hold on, if I steal this, if I bust this joker in the head, if I blah, 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 I ain't going to land myself in too much of a good spot. And the
Right.
good spot can be for, because people have different understandings of spots, different understanding. So a good spot could be mean you just buried right.
Right.
Yeah, good buried where people could look at you.
Right.
You are, people attend that joint instead of just the jokers that got to put you down.
Right.
That could be the good ending if you want to think of it in that sense. And it's still going to lead you to probably doing some more things that's on the good side than not.
Right. Absolutely. You want to definitely leave this place with some kind of legacy, something that your kids could be proud of, and your family could say, yeah, I remember him. He was a great person. And this,
Right.
you know, that's what we all hope
he was
for.
good to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. That's all I try to do.
It's good to me. Yeah, okay.
I'll be good to the people that's good to me.
I don't know, TP. I guess I changed in that sense.
I can't be good to everybody.
No. I'll give you. This is just piggybacking on what I literally just said. So my point of being selfish is in the sense of I'm going to be me, who I am. So, say for instance, somebody doesn't say hi. Does that mean I don't say hi? If I say hi, that's for me.
Oh
if
yeah, I'm not talking about
trash,
that.
that's for me. If I'm being nice to you, that's for me. That's not necessarily for you.
Right.
It's for me.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as far as, people that I deal with. You know what I mean? Right. I'm not talking about like just random people we walking by in the street. I mean, I know we couldn't
even apply to them. So it just takes
when we was kids, we used to have to come in the room, and if it was adults in the room, you spoke and you said hello and you introduced yourself, and then you exited the room because grown folk was talking. So it's certain.
That's just a normal consequence, and that's not even talked like that no more.
No, that's
people
not.
Think,
that's
my
not
kids ain't got to speak to this. No. The natural course of this is the same society that everybody else grew up in, and the respect of elders is a natural thing in society. You don't respect the elders, who the heck are you going to respect?
Nobody. So let's end it on that, B, because we got 2 minutes to get on up out of here, bro. And I will say this to all of you good people out there that sat through me and my cousin just sitting down here talking. I will say peace to you all on your journey. Thank you all for watching and listening, because we are on Anchor FM for your listening pleasures, Spotify for your listening and visual pleasures, and we are on YouTube for your visual pleasures. This has been your Don't Listen podcast with your boy TP.
This is Young TP. You are listening to your Don't Listen podcast. Stop playing.